I'm Michael Serback and I left MAGA. When Donald Trump first ran for president, I was afraid ISIS was going to come to America and impose Sharia law. So I liked his tough line on immigration and that he opposed gay marriage and transgender rights. I entered the right-wing media bubble. I became a part of the MAGA movement, and I liked that he was anti-establishment. My eyes really started to open in 2024 when Trump ran his campaign on nonstop fear-mongering and hatred towards immigrants. I'm dating a woman from the Philippines, so I know how much damage that could do. As Fox News tried to justify his actions, I turned away from them and others that tried to justify it. I've learned so much since then, and now I realize how Trump lies about so many things.
So what actually cracked this guy open wasn't logic. It was love. He started dating someone directly affected, and suddenly the abstract became personal. That's actually how real belief change works. It's never a debate. It's never a fact check. It's the moment the ideology collides with someone you actually care about, and suddenly you can't unsee it anymore.
For me personally, it's Christian values. I felt like at the time he aligned with it. Now, he doesn't because he's gone too extreme. I'm registered Republican, but he doesn't represent who we are anymore. The way with his ICE deportations, the inhumane, the way that he's treating people, the way he's not doing checks and balances, he preaches Constitution. And I used to teach people about the Constitution. I like what he's done and what he's continuing to do is not what you and I really agree with. We voted for him last year, right? I'm here to just say, or remind you, if you're a Christian, you believe in Jesus, pray about it.
I have never seen more videos of MAGA leaving the movement than I have the last 2 days because of the Epstein files. And with that, I'm also seeing a ton of hate comments and stitches their way, and I get it. You know how I feel about that crowd, but hear me out. Cult deprogramming has never started with facts. People don't leave cults because all of a sudden logic and truth hits them. It starts with the little cracks in their belief system.
This woman just described cult psychology more accurately than most therapists do in an hour-long session. The crack doesn't start with truth. It starts with disappointment, a promise that didn't land, a contradiction that sits wrong, a moment where the story doesn't add up. And then that discomfort has to go somewhere, either deeper in or slowly, painfully out. What she's saying is, don't slam the door the second someone starts doubting, because doubt is the only exit ramp there is, and it's fragile. Hit it too hard and it closes right back up.
Maybe a promised event didn't happen. Maybe their leader is starting to contradict some of the core values. Slowly, that contradiction creates discomfort. And usually one of two things will happen. One is they will double down that no matter what, we're here to stay. Or two, they start to question everything. The instinct to hit them with, oh my God, it took this for you to get it. And where have you been all along? And it's too late now. But people who tend to fall for cults are looking for community and acceptance. So the more we push them, the more they're going to go back to their echo chambers where the current MAGAs are waiting to engulf them back. Truth is, the best person to reach a current MAGA is a former one. And that's just human nature. We're more inclined to listen to someone who's been where we are than someone who's been challenging and fighting us from the start. We don't need perfect allies. We need loud ones. And let's be honest, the only person louder than a current MAGA is hopefully a former one.
Former believers are translators. They speak the language, they know the fears, they've been inside the echo chamber, and they know exactly which wall to push on. A stranger with facts has zero credibility to someone inside a closed system. But someone who used to sit in the same pew, that person gets heard. That's not just strategy, that's just human nature.
You may have seen this graphic on our page, and I want to talk about what each of these actually means. So let's start with number 1. Movements grow by addition, not subtraction. This should be pretty clear cut, right? Every authoritarian movement thrives on division. If we mirror that by rejecting anyone who is ever on the wrong side, we shrink our coalition. The far right is loud, but they're not the majority unless we're alienating anyone who's drifting away from that group. Number 2, shame locks people in bad systems. Research on de-radicalization shows us that people often double down if they're feeling ashamed or humiliated. What actually gets them out is being seen, being heard, being treated with humanity. Deep-rooted beliefs are often maintained by fear, and shaming individuals reinforces that extremist identity. Number 3, some of the most powerful truth tellers are former believers. Ex-MAGA folk who are going to fully own their past are uniquely positioned to speak to people still on the inside. They know the language, the fears, the blind spots. Think of them as translators. Number 4, it's not about forgiveness, it's about strategy. Welcoming someone into the resistance doesn't mean that we're pretending they didn't cause harm at some point. It means that our values of justice and truth and democracy are more powerful than that person's past, and that our movement is strong enough to grow. Number 5, holding space is not the same as erasing consequences. You can still be welcoming and ask someone to take accountability. But if we slam the door anytime someone who's starting to see the cracks, starting to see the doubts in MAGA is knocking, we're not discouraging that group. We are cementing their beliefs.
We finally have the answer to the age-old question of what would it take a MAGA supporter to leave Donald Trump? What would it take for them to turn their back on Donald Trump? We thought maybe the 34 felony counts and convictions would be enough. Maybe the E. Jean Carroll and the claims and cases of sexual assault and rape would be enough.
Felony counts, sexual assault cases, tax policy that gutted working class people. All of it, fine, no problem. But unreleased files? That's the line? And the wild thing is, it makes complete psychological sense. Because this wasn't about facts. It was never about facts. It was about identity. And the Epstein files were literally the core promise of that identity. We're fighting the elites, the hidden evil. So when that promise dies quietly, the whole story dies with it. The facts never mattered. The narrative did. And the narrative just collapsed.
Maybe it was this tax bill in which the lower class gets absolutely destroyed while giving their money to the billionaires. Maybe it was this, maybe it was that, maybe it was this, but we never saw the line crossed. And now we finally have the answer to what is making MAGA leave Donald Trump, because I have seen more and more videos about people showing their disdain and displeasure over Donald Trump and Pam Bondi not releasing these Epstein files than I have seen over anything else. Am I wrong? Are you seeing this? This has been, and I'm not saying obviously it's all MAGA. I mean, come on, that'd be ridiculous. But I'm seeing a ton of people posting videos saying they are pissed at Donald Trump and his administration because that was the thing that brought them to the table. That was what brought them into the cult. That brought them into the cult.
He became the thing they were supposedly fighting. That's the deepest betrayal possible inside any belief system. You can forgive a lot of things. You cannot forgive becoming the villain of your own story.
It hung by the door on a rusty old nail, a symbol of pride in a small town tale. I wore it through fields, through rallies and rain, but now it just carries a shadow of shame. So I'm burning my red hat, watching it glow. The fire eats the lies I didn't want to know. I can't stand with a man who divides and deceives. Burning my red hat, I'm setting myself free. It hung by the door on a rusty old nail, a symbol of pride in a small town tale. I wore it through fields, through rallies and rain, but now it just carries a shadow of shame. So I'm burning my red hat, watching it glow. The fire eats the lies I didn't want to know. I can't stand with a man who divides and deceives. Burning my red hat, I'm setting myself free. It hung by the door on a rusty old nail, a symbol of pride in a small town tale. I wore it through fields, through rallies and rain, but now it just carries a shadow of shame. So I'm burning my red hat, watching it glow. The fire eats the lies I didn't want to know. I can't stand with a man who divides and deceives. Burning my red
So last night I was able to sit down with a few women on the right and talk to them, and here's what they had to say. One, they're done with the right, but that does not mean they are running to the left, guys, okay? Anybody who is connected to that blue and white place, the Rayla Izzies, they're not going to vote for, and I agree with them on that. But it was CK being taken out and how it's being handled. It is how EK is reacting and how she seems completely unbothered. And it was the fact that CK's family has been nowhere to be found. They haven't even been mentioned. And that's very odd, and that was very alarming to them. It is how Christianity has been used as a weapon now. They see it as being used to incite PV across this country. Now, when I asked them about other things like prices going up, they said, yeah, we noticed it, but we just thought that it was maybe our area, that prices were going down other places and maybe they needed to shop differently, but they were brushing it off because they were being force-fed propaganda telling them that things were going down, and they had trusted what was being said because they trusted this administration. One woman referred to it as a hostage situation, that she felt she couldn't leave, that she had no choice, that this has been her whole life the past 8 years.
A hostage situation? And honestly, that's not dramatic. That's clinically accurate. When your politics become your entire social world, your friendships, your family conversations, your daily content consumption, leaving isn't just changing your mind, it's burning your life down. This woman isn't weak for staying as long as she did. She was calculating the cost of leaving, and for years, the cost was everything she had. That's not stupidity. That's someone trapped between their doubts and their entire support system, and that deserves to be understood, not mocked.
That she didn't know what to do if she left because everybody in her life is on the right and they have made it their entire personality. It's what they talk about all the time. It's all they consume. It's their everything. And so to see it crumble in front of them over the past 6 to 8 months has been very hard. 2 of the women downloaded Ground News to start getting their information from. And I felt like that was a really, really big deal because they are just now coming to this realization within the past week that they have been lied to, that they have been scammed, and the actual condition that our country and our freedoms are in right now. Yeah, it was really heavy and interesting to listen to them speak. And I truly hope that they continue to talk to me about this. They were fine with me coming on the internet and talking about it as well. But I don't know. What do you guys think? They said that everybody in their lives are opening their eyes and they're done. But the majority of them are still not willing to come to the left quite yet.
They downloaded a different news app. I know that sounds small, but that is enormous because it means they voluntarily stepped outside the information bubble they've lived inside for years. That's not just curiosity. That's the first act of someone rebuilding their own sense of reality. And that first step is the hardest one there is.
Hey, MAGA, all of your political commentators are jumping ship. Tucker Carlson, even the older millennial is jumping ship. It's okay. You can just quietly take off the hat and throw it in a landfill. You can just pretend you never supported him. You'll just have to live with it.
Kids. Democrats did this with Obamacare 15 years ago, and Johnson says Republicans have a mystery plan that is yet to be revealed to fix it, but no one knows what it is, and we're told to stay home in our district. She also responded separately to the Republicans and Mike Johnson, saying, "You left out that I have no respect for the House not being in session passing our bills and the president's executive orders, and I demanded to know from Speaker Johnson what the Republican plan for healthcare is to build the off-ramp of Obamacare and the ACA tax credits to make health insurance affordable for Americans." Johnson said he's got ideas and pages of policy ideas, and committees of jurisdictions are working on it, but he refused to give one policy proposal to our GOP conference on our conference call. Apparently, I have to go into a skiff to find out the Republican health care plan. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the same lady who pushed Donald Trump's J6 bullcrap, the lies surrounding 2020, the same lady who made conspiracy theories up about 9/11, is now calling out Donald Trump. You have even the crazies calling out Donald Trump for his failures. That's how you know it's bad. When you have the hardworking Americans, the crazies, and the loyalists to Trump all in unison saying, yeah, Trump, you're kind of screwing us over. You're kind of messing up the country. That's how you know things are bad for Donald Trump.
When the true believers start publicly breaking, that's not news anymore. That's a signal. Because the true believers aren't driven by reason, they're driven by loyalty. And loyalty doesn't crack for small things. It cracks when the fundamental contract gets broken. When the person you gave everything to makes it undeniably clear they were never actually on your side, the hardworking people, the ideologically extreme, and the loyalists, all saying the same thing at the same time? Yeah, something structurally shifted, and it doesn't shift back.
So look, I just had to show you this video from Bryce Mitchell. Pretty stunning that someone with a high profile like him is coming out and saying they're anti-Trump and that he's corrupt and the Antichrist, but I digress. I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world that you are here. Make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story, let me know if you're seeing something similar, and as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Hey everybody, it's Rich here at Leaving MAGA, leavingmaga.org. I wanted to bring you what I hope will be a little bit of Monday morning optimism. I am relatively confident that many in MAGA do in fact want to leave, but they are afraid of what's next and are petrified of being judged and ostracized and deemed as an outcast for their past actions, rhetoric, and beliefs. And I think if we're going to have a pro-democracy focus, sometimes that requires unnecessary, or I should say necessary, but unlikely alliances with those whom we may have once opposed. So I am of the belief that there are many within MAGA who are questioning their belief system right now. They're uncertain about their support for MAGA and have either quietly quit, they've quietly left, or they're quietly having doubts right now and they need a place for support. And that's what we hope Leaving MAGA would be, as a place for them, as a new destination, a new community, a safe space, a support group, an exit ramp for them to come to. So if you've got friends and family who are in MAGA right now, keep in mind that there is a possibility that they might be wondering if this is still the movement that they supported, that they thought they were supporting, and that maybe, just maybe, they're questioning their beliefs. So just wanted to bring that message to you here for hopefully some hopefulness for a Monday morning. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. Thanks so much for your support.
All right, folks, check this out. More and more MAGA fans are abandoning Donald Trump over his failures and his many broken promises. And one of the most stunning recent examples of this is on your screen right now. This guy's name is Bryce Mitchell. He's a UFC fighter. At one point, he said he would take a bullet for Donald Trump. That's how much he loved him. Now, he's singing a different tune. He feels betrayed. He feels like Donald Trump isn't doing enough for him. He's blaming farmers. He hasn't released the Epstein files. And in this video, he calls Donald Trump the Antichrist. That's how much his support has shifted.
A guy who said he'd take a bullet is now using the word Antichrist. That's not a political opinion change. That's a complete identity collapse. And when someone with a massive platform goes through that publicly, his audience isn't watching a news segment. They're watching a mirror. They're watching someone say out loud what they've been quietly feeling at 2 a.m. and too scared to admit. That kind of voice reaches people no journalist, no politician, no documentary ever could.
So I want to show you this clip of him kind of going on this pretty crazy rant, I will say. But before I do so, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this story. I want to say once again, thank you all so much for your support recently. In the aftermath of Donald Trump and JD Vance attacking me, I got a lot of MAGA trolls. You folks showed up, you subscribed, you supported, and I can't thank you enough. But look, without further ado, let's watch what Bryce Mitchell had to say about Donald Trump's failing presidency. Take a look.
Hey, I want to let y'all know I'm not with Donald Trump no more. I don't support.
So what did we just watch? People discovering that the story they built their entire identity around was never really about them. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Mocking them feels satisfying, I get it. But satisfaction doesn't build anything. 1 million disillusioned people with nowhere to land don't just become neutral. They become something. The question is what? Keep the door open. Not out of forgiveness, out of strategy. Drop a comment. Is this moment real or just another cycle before they come crawling back? Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to see it.